Hello and welcome back to Handmade Not Hallmark. It's Amanda here. Today I am making another thank you card for a bride and groom, and their colors were navy and sunflower yellow. So I decided to use the W+9 Autumn Blessings stamp set, and I'm going to use some Nina Solar White cardstock today because I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring. I'm using my Tim Holtz stamp platform, and I'm going to stamp the the stamp with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm using the banner from the stamp set and the big sunflower wreath for the stamp set because I figured that would be perfect on this card. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to use this for this card. It is so beautiful, and I can't wait to use it for my fall cards as well. It is going to be amazing, and I just loved coloring it as well. I'm just kind of rubbing my hands on the stamp because it's a brand new stamp, and sometimes they don't stamp really well when they're new. So the oil on your hands can really help with that. Sorry about the shaky camera. I must have been pushing a bit too hard, being a little more aggressive than usual. To get that all stamped, I'm going to start with my Copic coloring, and once I get to that, I'm going to turn on some music for you. And when I'm done coloring, I will come back and we will finish the card together. I wanted to make sure that I got a really good impression because this is so detailed and beautiful, and you can see where I missed some spots. So I just pressed on those spots where I had missed them to get a better impression. There was just one little spot that I had a little bit of trouble with. It seemed to work out a lot better. Just cleaning off my stamp here, getting it nice and clean. And I'm just going to leave it in there in case I make a mistake, so then that way I can just stamp it again. I'm going to get my Copics out, and all the colors that will be listed along the bottom of the screen, and I'll come back whenever I'm all finished, and we'll finish this card together. Now that my coloring's all done, I'm going to get the coordinating dies and I'm going to snip them apart and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. I really like having the coordinating dies for sets like this because, I mean, I could probably fussy cut it out. I wouldn't have an issue, but I thought maybe the white border around it would make it stand out a little bit more against the blue navy cardstock that I'm going to use in the background. Getting that all cut out, and I was trying to find the centerpiece for the wreath, and I was going around the different images to make sure I found the right one for that. And then the fun part is getting this lined up, and I noticed I had a couple of little bleed throughs on my banner, so I just took my 0 marker and fixed those a little bit. It's always a little nerve-wracking whenever you're die cutting because you don't want to mess up all that coloring you did. And it's just, which way? Didn't take me too long to figure it out. They did a good job with that. I really like W+9's products. They're really great. I'm going to make sure it doesn't budge. I'll put lots of Post-it tape down on that. I really like this banner too because it could be used in other sets as well. Sorry, I was off screen there for a second. And all die cut, ready to go. Now I'm going to get my card base together and get it ready. I really like the way that's going to look. I'm going to use the Honeybee Thanks dies. I've been using the same set on all of these thank you cards because I want it to look cohesive between all of them for my friend. And I'm just using some Simon Says navy cardstock and some heavyweight vellum. I couldn't get it to cut through very well, so I had to cut it a couple of times and I kept fiddling with it, so I just decided to use a new piece. I think I need a new die cutting machine. This one's been through the ringer, but it still works for now. I got it to go through that time. I'm just going to use my Lawn Fawn liquid adhesive to glue this down. This is probably one of my favorite liquid adhesives that I've been using lately. Just gives me just enough time to get it in the right spot. Sorry if my head gets in the way. I just wanted to make sure it was lined up, and it's hard to see on that vellum. Make sure it was perfectly lined up on the vellum. Then I'm using my Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen to add some shimmer to it, because I do that with all of these cards that I've created for her. And I really, really enjoy this pen. Next I'm taking the Lawn Fawn, the Lawn Fawn, they're the Smitty's alphabets, to put the bride and groom's name on here. And I wanted to make sure that it followed the banner, so I took my time and lined it up. Nice thing was they had pretty short names. And I'm just going to stamp it with some I think I used the Memento black ink on that. It's nice because the weather's starting to finally get nice here and the sun's starting to come out and it's not raining anymore. And the kids are getting a chance to play outside. Next I'm using this embossing folder from Spellbinders that I received from a friend of mine, just to add a little texture to that card base. I felt like it was a little plain, and then I wanted to trim it out so that I could have a white border around it using with my card base. Excuse me. So I'm just using my Score Pal here, and I'm using a standard size note card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I'm using the MFT. I think it's the A2 stacks to cut out that inner part of that piece of cardstock. So I just wanted the dotted pattern in the background. There, and that way I have a nice border, and that brings the white in from the frame, makes it really stand out. And then I thought that blended in too much. That thanks die blended in too much. So I thought maybe if I did white on top of it, kind of offset, it would still have that navy color, but it would make it stand out a little bit better against that blue. And I put sparkle on it as well. I just put a little bit of that liquid glue again, just on the edge, so that I could offset it just a hair. Just enough that you could still see it. Using my tweezers to get that just right. And I think that really adds to it. I had to add just a little bit more glue because those loops didn't want to stay down. Excuse me. There, and I think that looked so much better. And I'm going to use Sakura white gel pen just to add a couple of highlights to the berries and the acorns, and just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. I think I added some to the centers of the sunflowers and to the leaves, just to kind of make them stand out more, give them a little bit more character. I really like adding white pen detail. I really think it brings whatever you create to life. And then I thought about putting it on the banner, and changed my mind. Thought it looked good without it. Next, I'm going to use that liquid glue again to glue down that back panel. Get it lined up. It's a top folding side card base. Then I'm going to use some 3M 3D foam tape to pop up that wreath up off of the card base to give it just a little bit more dimension. I'm going to use a couple of scrapbook adhesives in the little areas. And then I was just trying to figure out where I wanted that so I could get the most amount of sunflowers just to kind of peek through. So I didn't press it down all the way. I just kind of lightly pushed it down, and then once I figured out where I wanted it, I pressed it down to get it to stick really well. I really, really enjoyed how this card came out. It's one of my favorites that I've done so far. And I can't wait to apply this same kind of design to my autumn cards as well. And then finally what I did was on the inside is I took one of the single stamps, sunflower stamps, and I put it on the inside just to kind of finish it off. I wanted to give it just a little bit of something else to kind of tie it all together. I'm going to just use the Memento Tuxedo black ink again. And that was it for my card today. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for the next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see ya. Bye.